His movements are currently better than Carnival's.
It actually feels more neat and tidy.
So actually, Carnival and Bongo were different classes. Carnival is Carnival and Bongo is Bongo, you know? At least with the current internal combustion engine standards.
That's right.
Wow.
Overall, the Carnival may offer slightly better ride comfort.
That's right, if we're talking about comfort.
But actually, in this kind of environment, this feeling can sometimes feel better.
Hello, this is Yon Motkurum.
Hello, this is Gominsu.
Chief, I feel like I'm in a good mood even before we start today. Is there a reason?
Because the car is fun.
What kind of car is it today?
Today, it's Kia's modular electric car, the PV5.
It's the PV5. We've driven cars for years, and in our opinion, this is Kia's best car this year. We believe the PV5 deserves that title. What's the reason for that?
First, it's cute.
It looks cute.
It looks cute, and even though it's a van, it's small.
Actually, as soon as the team leader saw this car, he said, this is probably what will come out after the Ray.
Because this is similar to the Ray. If you blow hard on the Ray's nose,
it gets bigger. If you remove the third row, it's basically a Ray.
That's right, exactly.
The team leader has a Ray, and in terms of practicality, it's truly the ultimate king.
That's right. It's a vehicle that business owners like me are very interested in.
Then let's find out why team leader Gominsu from the Most thought that way by starting the test drive now.
Yes. All right, let's get going.
Vehicles like this usually have a high roof, right?
Yes.
Because of that, they tend to feel wobbly, which relatively lowers the ride comfort. So sometimes it felt a bit burdensome.
The wobbliness is one thing, but these vans are also extremely stiff, especially in the back.
On the other hand, because the rear is tightened up for that reason, the ride comfort in the back gets even worse, which is a bit disappointing.
This one feels more like a passenger car and has that touch. The front materials aren't great, but it does have a double wishbone structure.
Double wishbone.
It's a double wishbone structure, and when you actually drive it, you can really feel that, oh, a double wishbone is definitely a double wishbone.
That's right. We often talk about materials and such, but there is still a structural difference.
Yes, there is. There is a structural difference, definitely a structural difference. The rear part isn't a van, it's a passenger model, but still, since they considered cargo loading and such, it's a bit sturdy. It's sturdy, but it doesn't have that rattling, bumpy feeling like the Bastaria van.
It has a sense of luxury. Really, for a lot of people who drive vans, they wonder what their next car should be, but there aren't that many options.
That's right, that's right.
Then, who do you think should be interested in the PV5?
First of all, it's a bit small. It's about the size of a Sportage.
It's amazing. The interior space is incredibly large. So it's like a Sportage. This was almost the first time I had to explain this to people I met several times. To be exact, it's 3 centimeters longer than the Sportage. When you look at the car, you might think it's as big as a Carnival. Especially if you take a look around the interior, people say this is a Carnival. So the exterior is like a Sportage, but the interior space is really big.
That's right. Despite its size, there are always drawbacks. It lacks maneuverability, not just speed, but convenience in cities, underground lots, and parking spaces. If it's hard to use there, it lacks maneuverability.
Oh, I don't even carry it around.
It's really inconvenient, but this one isn't like that. It goes in and out smoothly.
Fits perfectly smooth.
Yes, and like this.
The rotating section.
It's a rotating section, but if you try to turn here with a big car like a Staria, it's really stressful.
After stopping for a while, check both left and right carefully to avoid going off-road or into another lane.
In places like this, the A-pillar is really inconvenient.
First, here's one drawback. The A-pillar is too wide.
This electric vehicle platform has a surprisingly small turning radius. Now that's agility.
It's actually a convenience feature you can really feel. If you cross over to the other lane and come back just once, women usually don't bring it with them.
That's right, because it's a burden.
But when it moves so lightly like this, I was really surprised the first time I test drove this car, especially in a section like this where it just takes off. It just goes.
That's right, and since of this car's design, the front wheels sit right beneath your feet.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you turn it based on what we're used to, you might get too close to things like pillars. So I think it'll take a bit of getting used to. So it's really good in terms of maneuverability, and that's why people who work in transportation or delivery will find it very appealing. You can go into alleys too. You can move freely through alleys, and that's pretty convenient.
Just think of it this way. It's smaller than a Santa Fe or Sorento. It's about the size of a Sportage. There's nowhere a Sportage can't go, honestly, so it's about that size. Its top feature is mobility, even on country roads, plus the unique appeal of being electric.
It's sleek.
It's sleek.
It's sleek. And now the output is always consistent, smooth, and quiet.
It's quiet, so people say it feels like a luxury car.
However, electric cars, especially commercial ones, haven't gotten great reviews so far. Switching to the cheaper lithium iron phosphate batteries in the Porter resulted in slower charging and reduced driving range. The efficiency also dropped in winter and things like that, but I think this one should be evaluated this coming winter.
And before electric cars, they were noisy and ran on diesel. And then when they switched to liquefied petroleum gas, they lost the unique advantages of diesel. Plus, there were issues with fuel efficiency and a lot of other things. Cargo space and capacity mattered, so there was a lot of rattling. But after switching to electric Banjangnim, it feels as smooth as a 3000cc engine.
It has a really smooth feel.
Because of that, it feels luxurious. Remember how the car used to pause before climbing a hill? Now it just goes up smoothly.
Since it responds instantly, that's really nice in that aspect.
Still, I used to feel there was a clear difference between SUVs and PVVs, but with this added sense of luxury, it's really appealing.
It's appealing. I didn't have any expectations for this car, and honestly, I wasn't expecting much, but after today's test drive, I thought, hey, this is pretty good.
Now the important part, Mr. Banjang, driving performance.
I thought the driving performance, since it's a one-piece side panel, would either be too rattly or, like the Ray, too soft and wobbly. But this one is actually pretty well tuned.
They tuned it.
Even though the overall height is really high right now, even when you go through these ramp sections at a higher exit speed, it maintains its balance really well. It keeps its balance very well, and the rear feels solid. The rear does feel solid, but that firmness doesn't feel harsh or bumpy. So they've tuned it well.
That's right. With such a high roof height, maybe the biggest difference from the Sportage is that it's about 20 centimeters taller. But when the roof is higher, it usually causes more side-to-side swaying, right? But this is getting a little better. As we drive the electric vehicle 5,
it was okay.
We noted that the electric vehicle 5 had the least body roll among similar electric vehicle SUVs. I expected this one to have more, but it's actually fine.
The roll is fine too. It's not that there's no roll at all, but you know, there's a certain amount of roll you expect when you drive a car like this. But since that's not there, I find myself thinking, oh, this is interesting. There are some drawbacks to the high roof height, but they're not as bad as I thought. At this level, it's actually decent to drive. Even on this straight circuit, elevation changes and bumps cause the car to move up and down a lot. Driving a typical compact car or a Sportage here would feel dull and heavy. And then, when the front drops and the car settles, it feels quite slow to stabilize. It's slow. This uses a double wishbone structure, commonly found in small commercial vehicles for stability, but it's also been very well tuned.
The solid rear axle holds things firmly from the back, and there's a double wishbone in the front. Structurally, they've tuned it even better.
They've tuned it well.
They've done such a good job that, by my standards, it feels unlike typical commercial vehicles.
It's completely different. This one is much closer to a passenger car.
It really feels like a passenger car. On top of that, when you add the smoothness and sleekness of the electric powertrain, I start to wonder, could I drive something like this as my next car? That's the kind of thought I have.
I think this would be really versatile.
It's nice, right? But on top of that, these days, when you talk about a decent car, the price is almost 50 million won, isn't it?
What do you mean 50 million? They're even going over 60 million now.
The electric vehicle 5 was good, but the fully loaded version cost over 60 million won. Although hybrids are popular, the hybrid Santa Fe and Sorento together cost over 50 million won. It made me question if 50 million won is still significant now. But I honestly feel a bit upset because I think this might actually be an opportunity right now. They're giving over 10 million won in subsidies for van vehicles. With that much support, if you lower the price as much as possible for the cargo version in places like Gyeongsangnam-do, including value-added tax, it can even go down to around 22 million won.
Exactly. With small business support funds, the price decreases further. What that means is, for people who have a business license, this passenger model is actually quite attractive, but the passenger model does feel a bit expensive.
That's right. Since the passenger model doesn't have those benefits, you can get it for under 40 million won.
That's right, in the 40 million won range.
Plus, it's an electric car with plenty of space, not too bulky, just the right amount of luxury.
The downside is you can't hide its class. There's definitely a lot of wind noise, and road noise comes through quite a bit too. So those aspects definitely reveal the class of the car.
The ride quality is better than expected, Mr. Banjang, thanks to the 16-inch wheels.
They put in 65 series tires.
It's been so long since I rode this. It feels great.
If you put them in that way, the downside is it's a bit much. The tires are really donut style, but the roll is actually fine too.
The chassis manages roll well, and the tire cushion ensures ride comfort, so the roll is fine. I haven't driven on 16-inch wheels in a long time, but they're great. Even 18-inch would suit me. For looks though, there are 21 and 22-inch wheels.
You have to give up a lot.
I realized today I've given up a lot.
I've given up a lot. But now even if I just naturally turn the steering wheel and enter the ramp section without slowing down, it handles really well. Wow, it can do this.
Exactly. Why haven't you shown your full potential for so long?
Well, that could be the case, and this is actually a bit more advantageous. Because the car is narrower and the battery is laid out on the floor. Because the center of gravity is low, you can lower the roll center even if the car is tall.
Since it's much lower now, you feel closer to the ground.
It's less, and then, since there's a solid rear axle in the back, people tend to misunderstand something. Because the solid axle looks like it's fixed in the back, many people think it's just fixed and that both wheels move together. Even with a solid axle, both sides flex like this. It's pretty flexible. The setup of the solid axle can change how it feels.
Last time, Mr. Banjang mentioned this briefly. Depending on who does it and how at first, people's fixed perceptions last for a really long time. Even though that's not really the case, if you do it well and set it up properly, it's definitely good. But because of cars from the past that weren't like that, there's a fixed perception that it's extremely bad. Also, we honestly have those kinds of perceptions about double wishbone and McPherson as well.
I think adding a double wishbone in front was a good choice. It looks like the car is tall and might feel unstable, but when you actually drive it, it's not like that at all. In everyday life, we usually drive at around 100, and when we get on the highway, we use the speed range from 100 to about 130 for driving in the first lane and overtaking. Even in that speed range, it's pretty good.
It's attractive.
So, it's a car that you shouldn't get too greedy with. Still, since it's not a fast car, I think it's actually pretty good for everyday driving.
I also tried the PV5 during the group test drive last time, and you know, the course is set for those group drives, right? So it felt really smooth and nice, but is this for real? Today, riding on Jayuro with the team leader, I think this is the first time I felt this way in a van. Some things like the materials could be better.
There hasn't been a car like this before. Actually, Kia has always been a strong company when it comes to vans. First came the Bongo, followed by the Pregio.
Pregio?
Back then, the Pregio was much better than the Grace.
Pregio Grace. Kia made those cars, right? They were so good, people called them the Bongo legend.
That's right. Grace used to make people car sick back then. But the Pregio ran really well and had a strong engine because at that time it had the J2 3.0 engine, which was really powerful.
Anyone who knows this, since you were a mechanic, I'll guess you're in your 40s, Chief. But you have to be in your 50s.
It used to be like that, but when the Carnival came out, they just handed over the minivan roll to the Starex. Let me step on it for a second. Overtaking acceleration isn't explosive, but it felt a bit intense when passing. A bit more relaxed. Seen that way, it feels good.
It's enough. There's no anxiety.
I'm not anxious. I'm not even anxious when changing lanes.
And you know, when the car is tall, I used to worry it might tip over, right? That kind of feeling. But you don't need to warm up for that. You don't need to mentally prepare yourself for that.
When you're driving with one hand like this and want to change lanes, you usually put both hands on the wheel, right? But even without that feeling, right now I'm overtaking. It's a situation where I'm overtaking. This is a corner with some body roll and a rough road, but entering like this, the car still feels stable. There's not much roll in the back either. Actually, look at the road ahead right now. Here, there's a bump, there was a bump, and it's not bad.
And it just goes over it without any discomfort. And I think its movement is much better than the Carnival right now.
It actually feels rather neat.
So actually, the Carnival and the Bongo were different. The Carnival was the Carnival and the Bongo was the Bongo, right? At least with the current internal combustion engine models.
But overall, the Carnival might be a bit superior in terms of ride comfort.
If you really care about a premium feel.
But actually, in this kind of environment, this feeling can even feel better.
If you focus only on driving performance, I think this one is better.
Stability feels good. I'm gaining speed, and even in corners, there's little body roll or instability. It's not bad at all.
So I thought, electric vehicles really suit vans well. They really eliminate a lot of the disadvantages of vans.
Honestly, even though it feels like a van, I consider the Staria as my next car.
Yeah, that's right. You mentioned that recently.
My daughter doesn't want to ride her school to academy car when she's home.
The same car.
Yes.
So
now,
try to seduce with this. There's this version, and if you add a pretty heart shape or a cloud shape here, it's amazing. I'll just show you the face. So, oh, it's pretty. Honestly, you have to like the car every time you see it, right? And on top of that, it gives you this soft, smooth feeling, so it's nice.
Even now at 100 to 110 kilometers, we're cruising in the second lane. And even without holding the steering wheel, it's better than most cars.
You need to explain that in more detail. Because when it comes to Hyundai's internal combustion engine vehicles, we talked about it based on the assumption of steering correction. And the reason for that correction is actually because the behavior of the platform also plays a role.
That's right, it's the movement of the suspension. But as this pitching happens diagonally, every time one side of the rear goes down, you have to make steering corrections like this.
Correct. The front was damaged because the car was moving.
So when you're going straight, it's actually better to have the rear set up a bit stiffer like this. And with a double wishbone in the front, the steering correction is better with this one.
That's right. Even on long drives, it was comfortable.
That's right. You go a bit more leisurely, but at the same 100 km/h on the highway, this one feels better.
So I think Hyundai and Kia already knew about this. Of course, having play in the steering isn't a good thing, but when you tighten up the body, it reduces it.
It's not that this one doesn't have it at all, but it's definitely not the kind of feeling where you have to keep adjusting it all the time.
That's right. It would be nice if regular cars were a bit better, but it's an acceptable compromise.
That's right. At this level, it's fine. I'm driving with one hand today. On the highway, it doesn't sway that much, and that's another charm.
I think it would be nice if this was a little smaller.
Isn't there a smaller version too?
Do you think there is? So, we've confirmed the PV7 for this one.
If Samuel disappears, will this become a Ray?
We should monitor PV3, but that was interesting. Banjang Nim, today was our first time seeing Playos. Actually, this is the first time it's been applied to a commercial vehicle, or rather a mass-produced car. How does it feel?
First, the visibility is excellent. It might not sound significant, but it feels like using a very wide monitor.
So, the previous one was called 12.3, and this one is called 12.9, but it's completely different, since the height is longer.
It's like seeing an 8.9-inch tablet.
8.9 inches.
It feels like it changed to 11 inches. So there's a lot more information we can see here. Even just looking at this navigation.
And it's definitely a lot snappier than before. And the user interface has changed too. At first it felt a bit awkward because it was new, but I've already gotten used to it.
I think they're among the best in the world at making this type of user interface. So even if someone who used to drive a Kia changes to this, at first they might go, and oh, but it's easy for them to get used to it.
That's right, that's right, that's right.
That part is really good. And also the front dashboard, the dashboard. This is something we talked about before with the ID.5 and what was it, the Celic.
That's right, that's right.
It's small, but it's amazing.
You can see everything.
You can see it all. Seeing it change like this makes me think, hey, maybe the dashboard doesn't need to be that big. That's what I thought. Since it only has what's really necessary.
It's better than having none, since some people don't have one at all.
That's right.
Tesla boldly eliminates such things. It's definitely better to have it. And even if you only show the key information, isn't it different when it catches your eye here versus on the side?
Now, because of the class or something like that, it's a bit disappointing that there's no heads-up display, but the brightness of this one is...
It's clear.
It's very clear, and this one is different too.
Still, even though we can't know their strategy, don't you think cheaper cars, commercial vehicles, and small to mid-sized cars will go that way? I think higher-end models will have HUDs, but maybe this is just an early model.
The assembly finish is a bit disappointing.
That should be fixed soon, but there are minor issues with the second row windows right now.
The window trim too.
I hope those things can be fixed quickly. Chief, let's reach a conclusion today. Have we ever smiled this much in a domestic car while driving the PV5?
No, we haven't. This truly feels like driving the Ray's next generation model.
The next generation of the Ray.
I've had my Ray for over 5 years, now in my 6th, and I still enjoy driving it.
You have to try the Ray. The Ray is completely different from how it looks on the outside and how it feels when you drive it.
I initially bought the Ray for city driving, but later tuned the suspension for long distance trips alone or with someone else.
That's right, for long distances, you tune both the front and back, right?
Since I was satisfied with that, I wanted to do the same with this one.
That's right. I think you only need to adjust this one a little bit. The sense of space is amazing. That's what this one is like. The space above your head right now. And if you take a quick look behind you,
in the second row, if you bend slightly, an adult man can change pants while standing.
Yes, kids can change into swimsuits right there.
You can change your pants while standing.
There's a clear difference between users and non-users. Once tried, satisfaction is high.
That's right.
For me, it's eating packed lunches. Traveling with my parents in this heat, I really enjoy being able to eat comfortably on the go. So among the cars I've test driven recently, I really think this one is very attractive.
It makes good use of space, and it has that spaciousness, but it's not too big, so I think that's a real advantage.
Even without folding the second row, the trunk space behind the third row is impressive. You could easily go camping with it.
That's right, if you like camping, you could just buy this car and set it up just for camping.
I'm satisfied. Eventually, someone will likely turn this into a camper van. If it's this PV5 stationary car, I'd rather just buy that one used. Anyway, wouldn't you be able to get a fully customized one for around 30 million won in that era?
That's right, these electric cars on Hyundai's front-wheel drive platform are really well made because you don't get car sick.
You don't get car sick.
Among those who haven't ridden an electric car yet, there are a lot of people who say they get car sick. They say things like, the first time I took an electric taxi, it was so tough I thought I was going to die.
That's right. There's also that queasy feeling. With two motors now, it could be a sync issue, a platform problem, or maybe we're just sensitive. Both the team leader and I can't help but feel car sick in vehicles with rear-wheel motors.
After just 30 minutes of riding, it hits us right here.
Even from that view, this car is appealing.
This one doesn't cause car sickness, showing how much front-wheel drive electric car platforms have quickly improved.
Actually. Oh, you're right.
Rear-wheel drive electric cars still make me nervous since Korea has 4 seasons, so I'm hesitant to buy one.
That's right. Rear-wheel drive alone can be a bit dangerous.
Of course, you could use winter tires, but honestly, it's not easy to use winter tires every year. But with front-wheel drive, that burden is lighter.
In a way, what Hyundai Motor Group does best is making cars around 4,500 mm in length incredibly well.
That's right.
As you said, Banjangnim, they seem very skilled at making front-wheel drive cars.
They make them well, they're good.
Now that they have double wishbones and a tighter rear, it just doesn't feel premium due to the materials. Driving performance.
The car doesn't feel premium or luxurious, but it's very comfortable to drive on the highway.
It's comfortable. Yes, it's comfortable.
Actually, it's not like this car has a good motor-driven power steering or anything. Even so, in terms of straight line stability, steering, and the way it feels when swaying gently, this one is better.
So, in conclusion, at this price range, isn't this probably the best car? And on top of that, it even comes with a battery.
I'm just a bit disappointed the sedan isn't cheaper.
Right, the sedan, the cargo version is appealing.
Yeah, I think it would be fine if it was in the high 30 million won range, because people end up buying the long-range version, especially those who like cute cars.
That's true. Going far is important. You're right. You should also test drive the PV5. Especially for those of you who have felt burdened by the high roof of cargo trucks, traditional vans, Bongo, Staria, Carnival, and similar vehicles, or if you felt the driving experience was lacking power and just sluggish, you should definitely try this out. The smooth ride of this electric car made me really enjoy it with Mr. Banjang today. You could probably tell by my face.
But still, this is a van after all.
It's a van.
It's a van after all, but you definitely need to allow for a longer braking distance. You have to take that into account.
Chief, today I drove Kia's PV5. I had a good time driving it.
It was fun.
There was a lot of talk, but I still had a fun ride today.
Yes, it was fun. Because the car is pretty good.
It's a judgment where either the materials are good but the car isn't, or the basics are solid but materials are lacking. We mainly evaluate it based on the reasonable price.
This is better because it's the usual fatigue you feel.
Rather than just flashy things that are too obvious, honestly, the basics matter more.
It wasn't bad.
Let's greet together.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for your hard work. If this was helpful to you, please like the video, subscribe and turn on notifications to get accurate new car information quickly. Thank you.